Julius, I'm laughing. I was waiting for it. You need to help me, Julius. I've not got a clue. So, I've got StreamYard, and I tried to go into StreamYard there, and it's linked to this channel. And then I'm thinking to myself, who am I going live to here? Because I haven't got a clue. So, I've got StreamYard because I want to start bringing a couple of yous in. I want to do a live with my mate Lee Goody over in Belfast. Jim Smith was on there and Cesario Gunn was on, and I've lost them, so apologies guys. I'm learning, right? I'm learning all the time, and you know I'm a biff with tech, so don't laugh at me. Do not laugh at your fellow man for his shortcomings. I was hoping that nobody would notice. OG, you're too funny, mate. You're wasted on YouTube. You need to be an editor somewhere. I've been laughing at your stuff, man. OG's hilarious. But you need to be in the know. If you know, you know. Julius, so I've got StreamYard, right? I believe I've linked it to my channel. So if I'm on this channel, right, how do I bring my mate onto this channel? Somebody will need to help me, I've not got a clue. Jim Smith and Cesario Gunn were in the other chat, which I cancelled. I pressed the wrong button, Jim. Apologies, mate. I'm useless. I'm useless. Absolutely hopeless, man. Cheers, Craig. Craig loves my videos, but he also knows that I'm technologically behind. I'm a little bit slow in the uptake with the old tech. But I can read a compass. And if you stand a mile away on a hill, I could shoot you. I'm really good at that as well. So that's my skill set. I was having a laugh earlier with Lee, the Aqua Adventurer. Yeah, Magoo, it's meant to be halfway, right? But I said I was going to say Galway as a reference to my mate in Ireland. And we were laughing, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking about, you know, our time as servicemen, and we come out and we're like, what skills do we bring to, you know, Civvy Street? Well, I've never worked for anybody. I've always worked for myself since I left the military, be it as a contractor or whatever, private work, you know, whatever I've chosen to do. And he says, well, I bet you nobody in your page could shoot somebody, you know, a mile away in a hillside. And I went, that's a good point. That's a good point. So if there's anybody out there looking for anybody to be shot, I'll get my CV to you, okay? Joking, of course. Anyway, halfway to the start. What does that mean? Send me the list. What does that mean, halfway to the start? Okay, so I'm halfway, I'm in day 6. If I've not lost a day somewhere, I'm not really good with numbers, you know that as well. So I'm in day 6, guys, and I'm absolutely fine, right? Feel fine. I did have a little notion earlier to eat some midget gems, which isn't a big deal, right? There's literally nothing in midget gems nowadays. I'm not making excuses. I've also had a couple of bowls of All Brand because I need a wee bit of fibre in my diet just now. My body's telling me that. You know, so I've got a few wee giveaways when I need some fibre in my diet. Anyway, I've been having fibre all day. So, I'm fine. I'm absolutely rocking. So I was chatting to my mate earlier. We're going to bring him on and we're going to do a wee live about his life. We're going to talk about his journey, which made me think about being halfway to the start. So in 6 days' time, guys, no, gee, no. Close, mate, but no cigar. Big Billy, how you doing, my man? Shout out to Billy for Kelly. Right, guys. So, halfway to the start. I'm halfway through 6 days, but what am I halfway to? So, in 6 days' time, when I finish my little window, right, my little window for change, what am I going to be doing? Is that it over? Of course it's not over, right? It's just beginning. So, I'm halfway to the start. I'm halfway to the start line of how I'm going to proceed, how I'm going to move forward. We're all under the cosh, all of us. You can see how cold it is here. We're all under scrutiny from somebody, if you pay attention to scrutiny. Every word that I say online gets scrutinised by somebody, right? How you doing, Dot? Every word I say gets scrutinised. I'm going to have a Polo Mint from this rather large packet of Polo Mints. Every word I say gets scrutinised by people who want to... It doesn't count, Ellie, it doesn't count. How you doing, Susan? They either want to derail you or they want to defile you, right? And derail your word. Danny Christie, how you doing, mate? DC in the chat. The very man I'm thinking about, funnily enough, but he's not enough mentions this week. He's basking in the glory. So he's not getting a shout. There's always somebody out to scrutinise you for whatever you do, okay? Now it's getting boring. It gets boring having your every single living, breathing move scrutinised. What I've found throughout my life is that those doing the scrutiny have no story. Therefore, they don't have too much that you can pick at. I don't want to pick at anybody. I don't want to cut somebody's stuff down and, you know, break them down and overanalyse and cross-reference and examine and critique. I don't really care. I'm not interested. I've not got enough time in my day to sit and worry about things like that. I've made my choices in life and I am happy. Hand on heart, I am happy with who I affiliate to, and for good reason. I will stand for anyone who gets their balls in their hand and wants to stand up and be kid and is prepared to put one foot in the other and walk towards a better life, advancing towards change, betterment, fulfillment, enlightenment. Anybody that's got the guts to do that, I'm aligned to. I'm automatically aligned to anyone that's prepared to do that. I'm also automatically aligned to anyone who's prepared to support me and not scrutinise me for any mistakes I made in my life. I look, and social media, YouTube in particular, could be a fantastic community, okay? But we've all been stretched and we've all got involved in something we shouldn't. We've all dipped our toes in, we've all tried. I've made some silly choices lately, which would have resulted in nothing other than time lost or whatever. Negative outcomes. No more, right? No more. My circle's about that size, guys, okay? Radio check over, the thin red line. Big Brian, how you doing, my man? Good man is Brian. So my circle's about this big. Not for any other reason than I can manage it. I get too many incoming messages to respond to hundreds of, dozens of friends a day and, you know, keep up like I used to. It overstretched me and it overburdened me. And when I sat down and had a conversation with the real Danny Christie on his podcast, a lot of people enjoyed the chat that we had because we spoke to one another in layman's terms. We spoke to one another the way we would speak to one another sitting over a fish supper, sitting eating a biscuit with a cup of tea, sitting in the kitchen, right? We just had a conversation. It was two guys that have came together later in life and they're both retrospectively looking for something better than what they've known yesterday. And that conversation we had, call it a podcast, call it whatever you like, it appealed to people. Do you know why? Because everybody wants to get at something better. Everybody's looking for a better existence. We've all been under the caution. We've all been critiqued and criticised and hammered and had fingers wagged at us and slanderous comments thrown at us and mud slung. And there comes a point, guys, right, where it gets boring. Repeating yourself and explaining. Who am I explaining myself to? Why? Why do I need to explain myself to anybody? And why do I need to explain to strangers about my choice of friend? Right? AC/DC Live coming soon. Now that man I've just mentioned, and this will be the last I mention him in this conversation, right? That man I mentioned there has been judged by me. I've no right to judge him. But I've judged him as somebody that I want to have time with. A guy I like to get in touch with. A guy I like to see training and getting fit and getting healthy and getting on in life. And I don't care if he slips in 3 months or 6 months. I'll be there at his side to get my punty back up again and get him back on track, as I would hope he would be for me. Because my journey's not complete and my journey's not over. But I've been reading around tonight and around on YouTube, and all of these faceless strangers with their big opinions. You try wrapping your hands up and going and earning a living the way he does. Okay, because the outcome's never certain. You don't know what the next blow's going to accomplish. So there's a lot of judgmental people out around just now. I've got no time for them. After tonight, I won't discuss them again. Because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You could birch a man all his life for stealing an orange 20 years ago. Is that the society that we want to live in? I've got a past, guys. I've got a past. I don't like the Alex Kearney that I used to know. I don't like the Alex Kearney of old. A lot of people did like him because I would bend over backwards to help them and make sure I was available for them, detrimental to my family. Right? Okay? I've moved on from that. I am now selective about who I affiliate myself to. I affiliate through choice. I like what I see. I like when I see somebody with spreading their wings, ready to grow, taking the storm as it comes, right? Standing under a cloud and taking everything that comes from them, while trying to not respond and not react. And for a guy that always did react, and he reacted with them, and he reacted, you know, with fire and rebel and all the rest of it, I like the fact that that person is now in control. And it's the fact that they're in control which is torturing the minds of those that wish to see them fail. Well, I'll let you into a secret. You're not going to see that. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Okay? I'm not going back to who I was. He's not going back to who he was. We're just guys with flawed characters. But we're trying to be better men. That's all we're trying to be. Okay? Change is achievable if you push it hard enough. So that's why we're here. And that's why I expose myself to your critique. You that follow, you that are part of this team, you that have made this channel what it is, by repeatedly coming on here and listening and contributing via comments and offering support. And I know he's given a lot of support his way as well, via my channel. I've made him aware of that. I've told him about the messages you send me in support of him. Okay? So I just felt the need to clarify. We're not perfect, we're far from it. But I'll tell you, we're getting there. We're on the right track. And as Brian just said, Brian Gallagher, the thin red line, you're never out of the fight. Because regardless of what he achieves and what I achieve and how far we come, there's always going to be somebody yakking in the background. But they don't put bread on the table. And they don't do the fighting for you. Okay? I try and fight with that nowadays. They're no good to me these days. Look at the nick of them. Okay? I'm probably too old and I'm probably too stiff. But if needs be, once more into the fray, into the last good fight I'll ever know. Live or die in this day. Live or die in this day. You know it, brother. You know it. Knows it better than anyone. So guys, listen. I just thought that tonight we would address that. Right? We are getting somewhere. We're putting one step in front of the other. I am putting one step in front of the other. I'm speaking for no one here other than myself. I'm getting there, and there are days where I doubt, and there are days where I'm subdued with the dark clouds and all the rest of it, and I've got the monster on my back, right? There's days where I've got that monster on my back, and it would be very easy for me to go and walk into a pub and just wash all my problems away. But I choose not to do it. It's a choice, right? It's a choice. And at times it's a difficult choice. Because it's easy to be a toe rag. It's easy to make the wrong choice. It's the right choice that's hard. We're flawed people. But we're getting there. And progress is a full-time job for people like us. That's the truth. That's the truth. You've got to dedicate yourself to this. It's a craft. You're learning a craft. You're developing a craft. I'm actually learning more about myself today at 45 than I've ever known about myself. I'm learning that I'm actually capable of better things. I'm learning that I've got a brain, that I've got an entrepreneurial streak, that had I known 20 years ago, I would be retired today. Thank you very much, Hatchet Harry. I appreciate you. But my vision, like other guys from my generation, was clouded by pubs and alcohol and this and that and the next thing. Thank you very much, Deco. Appreciated, brother. Appreciate that. Motorsports buggies, shout out. So it's easy for us to fall into the trap and go back the way. I'll tell you, it's hard. Getting up every morning and going and earning a living and actually reminding yourself about your past and that your future's over there in the horizon and you need to get there. It's easy. It's easy to live that crazy life. It's not productive, but it's easy. Do you know why? Because when you're living that crazy life, you've got no community. No community at all. You've got no responsibility. Right? There's no community, there's no protection around you. When you've pushed everybody away, you've got no responsibility. You don't have to provide anything for anybody because you're too reckless a person. You're too reckless and you're too selfish. And you're too self-indulgent and too focused on your own decay, your own destruction. And see, self-destruction is a very, very powerful emotion. I've had it. I suffer from it. It's part of my genetic makeup. It's part of who I am. But I can admit it, as can my friend. Okay? And that takes a lot of balls to stand up and put yourself out in the public eye and have people point and wag at you. But to say, here I am. I'm here. And I'm prepared to sit here and take the shit that you're throwing at me. Yet again. Even though you've thrown it at me 10 times prior, I'm still here. I'm still letting you throw it at me. And I'll still be here tomorrow. Because no matter what you do, what you say, what you write, how much you slander me. You see that horizon over there? You see that? That's where I'm going. And I'm going to get there, and nobody and nothing is going to derail my journey. Because I am worth this to myself. That's my destiny over there. That is where the real Alex Cairney sits. That's where the real Danny Christie sits, over there. And that's who I'm going to. I don't know that person I used to be. They're a stranger to me. I don't know who they are. Don't recognise that person. But I recognise that person over there. So guys, regardless of what you read, regardless of the crap that people spew, the diatribe, the rhetoric, all the bull, anybody can write anything on social media. I can write anything and somebody out there will believe it. Right? Somebody will believe it. But I choose not to do it. Okay? I choose not to pick random people to try and character assassinate. What's it going to achieve? By reminding someone about stuff from a long time ago, repeatedly, when in the bigger scheme of things, right, they themselves have dealt with it. I've tried to rectify every mistake I made in my life and put right every wrong that I made in my life. I've tried hard to fix it all. Am I going to beat myself up forever about it? There comes a time where you need to draw the line and move on. You have to move on at some point. And stop hammering yourself. So I've chose to move on. And I have a small circle of people that I talk to, and some of them are in this chat. And those people were there for me at one point or another when I needed them, right? When I needed just to go and clear my head. I would go down the beach with my pal Susan that's in the chat, and we would go down the coast and I would clear my head on that beach. And it was like medicine. It was like shoveling medicine down your throat. Right? Talking to my mate Lee that's in the chat on Messenger at 3 o'clock in the morning about the darkness. We served together, we shared time together, and me and Goody would chat away, and it would be like medicine, shoveling medicine down your throat, remembering good men that aren't here, remembering funny stories when you were at your lowest. We would bring them up and talk about them. That's the medicine. You need somebody, you need decent people around about you for those times when you are rudderless, when you're directionless, when you're just drifting. That's when you need good people. And I've known Lee for well over 20 years, right? 23, 24 years. We served together, and he's never once judged me. And I've never once heard him say a bad word about anybody. He's just a go-lucky kind of guy. But he gets his dark days. But we bounce off each other, and then we might not speak for 3 months. And then we'll have the chin wag, and we were laughing the day. He phoned me the day, and he caught me with my drawers down. And we had a bit of banter. And it's good banter. It's medicine. And it works. It works for me. Believe me, guys, I'm as deep as the sea, right? I'm as deep as the sea. It's not healthy how deep I am. And at times, those wee chats, those wee not too deep, not too important, not too technical conversations, just basic daft banter, bring you right out the mire. And all of a sudden, your health is back to scratch where it needs to be. Okay, Deco's in the chat. Deco's openly, I'm not saying anything out of school, he's openly discussed his own mental health and the dark days he gets and all the rest of it. And I can read him like a book, and I can see when he's down. And I'll ping him a message and tell him to get his act together and, you know, get up the mountains. Get in the van and drive yourself up to Glencoe. It's 2 hours. The minute he arrives there, he feels better. Go to whatever works for you guys, right? If that's your medicine, then go towards whatever works for you. Do not go in the opposite direction. looking for something else. If you know that the fix is that way, then go west, my son. Go west. You hearing me, guys? I don't think it's complicated. I think we all overcomplicate every decision we make, and we overcomplicate our own complications. I need to find another word. And then we basically add too much stock to the broth and all the rest of it, and we make a muck of it all, right? We get it all wrong. The fix is usually staring you in the face. Ollie Hardy's saying, what about when nothing works? Well, Ollie, there is a fix out there for you. You just haven't found it yet, mate. Don't write yourself off, right? Because I promise you, there is a fix out there for you. You just haven't yet discovered it. Right? But you'll get to it. Hatchet Harry. Nothing that I do, right? Rob Oldgoth's in the chat. I had a conversation with Rob 2 weeks back. He phoned me up for a wee, call it a shoulder. And I literally brutalised the guy. I brutalised him over the phone. Rob's given me permission to speak. I brutalised him. And I know how shocked he was, because I could hear him gasping for air on the other side of the phone at the response he got from me. The reason being, Rob's tried everything else. And then I said, Rob, you're going to have to get your head right out your arse, mate. And stop that feeding programme that's demoralised you for 20 years and dehumanised you and held you back. Because there's a brain inside you, there is a skill set inside you, there is an intelligence inside you, there is a natural affinity for life inside you, and something that you are orally being prescribed is suppressing that. So Rob's knocked it all in the head and boom, we've got a new Rob. Rob's just reinvented himself overnight. Then Rob's thanking me. I said, no, don't thank me, mate. You just phoned me up for the crack. Thank yourself, you're the guy that did it. So, I've not yet apologised to Rob because I don't think it warrants an apology. I just told him to knock all the shit out his head and get his act together. And I don't tell everybody that, but I could see nothing else that was working. So I thought, I'm going to go to the extreme end of the spectrum, and I'm literally going to hit Rob with a sledgehammer, which I did over the phone. I hit him with a verbal sledgehammer. And it worked. It worked. And see, if I go wrong, I hope one of you guys get on the phone to me and say, listen you, and give me it stinking, and give me a shake, put your hand right down the phone and throttle me. Because sometimes, guys, it is the school of hard knocks. Sometimes the tough approach, the harsh approach is all that works. Right? Now, Rob trusts me. Doesn't really know me, but he puts some trust in me. So it's up to me to prove to Rob that he's right about me. That I'm here for the long duration. I'm not here for 10 minutes to then disappear over the horizon and leave you all in the lurch. This is for good. We're building something here, something that's greater than us. Something that's greater than all of us. We're just the moving parts of it. We're all little cogs in the machine. Remove one cog, the machine fails, it stalls and it stumbles and it sputters and it stops. I'm not the answer, guys. I'm just the host. This doesn't work without you. Thanks, LFC. I appreciate that, mate. This channel doesn't work without you guys. Frankie Clark, Brad, Neil O'Mac, Jim, all of the people that have been here and contributed from the beginning. You know who you all are, Pixie, Julisse, you've all brought something to the table. You've all brought something to the table. All of you. So it doesn't work without you. V Thomas is saying we have enough gurus already anyway. One thing about V Thomas, they basically say it as it is. No mincing, no, they're no here to, whoever they are, they're no here to blow the wind up anybody's arse, especially no mine. They say what needs to be said. I like that. There is more need for that in society. There's a need for clarity. There's a need for people like V Thomas that just go, boom, black and white, there you go. Right? They're not PC. They're not worrying about, you know, upsetting somebody. You've got to hear the truth at times, guys. I do rate Montane gear, Peter. Yeah, I do. Rate it highly. I've got some of it in the cupboard there. I really like honesty, guys, and I like people that are black and white and right, like, to the point. I do. I respect it. No, I'm not saying that, V Thomas, that you're definitely not out to upset people. You are basically crystal clear. You come across crystal clear. I like that and I respect it, and this channel needs that. We need a bit of you in this channel. A spoonful of you, a spoonful of him, a spoonful of Chelsea, a spoonful of Brad, and it makes the stock, it makes it the soup better. You getting me? Spade's a spade. That's the thing. Thanks, Craig Goldie. We need clarity. We need to be honest with each other, guys. I don't want to beat around the bush with you for 3 months, because in that 3 months you could harm yourself or something much worse. So if I think you need to be grabbed, then I'm going to grab you and say, listen, you know, whatever you're doing's not working. Right? Let's go back to the drawing board and have a rethink here. Plan B, Plan B's in the bin. We're going to Plan D or Plan G. One thing that will not affect me is negative chat, slander. Couldn't care less, guys, honestly. I know me. I know me. I know who I am. And those that are close to me, right, that actually know me personally, they know me as well. They've seen me at my best, they've seen me at my worst. They're seeing the best version of me today. But they've stuck by me. Regardless. I've been trolled online. I've had the worst of things said about me. And these people trusted me. That it was vile, faceless keyboard warrior trolls trying to derail what I was doing. Which was proven to be the case. Proven beyond doubt to be the case. So I can look at myself in the mirror and I can put myself on this platform. I can do that with a true heart. I know I'm here for better reasons. I know I'm here to do better things in life. Whatever I've done till now, I know I've got better things coming. And I've got more to offer, and I've got somebody that I can do something for that might help them. Anybody can say anything online. Spiteful, hurtful people that don't realise that not everybody's as strong as me mentally. I've got big shoulders, I can take that. But some people can't take it, and it sends them to a dark place, it sends them over the edge. That should literally be classified as a serious assault on somebody. When you damage somebody irreparably, mentally, I don't know what Brian Burrow said there. I'm not really interested if he's a troll, right? Good luck to Brian. Send him a cuddle. Let me see, just to see what he said. Maybe David's dealt with him. David's on the ball. Yeah, he's gone. What can you say, guys? Who have I timed out there, Slick Mick? I didn't mean that, mate. I've hit a button. Slick Mick's a good guy. Sorry, Mick. You'll hear this. Yeah, guys, I think I've hit a button there and timed out Slick Mick. He'll be back in a minute. So, as I say, right, if there's a troll in the chat, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't even faze me. I don't care. David will let me know what he said afterwards. Charlie boy, how you doing, mate? I appreciate that, Charlie. Thank you, mate. We'll see you soon. I will get another couple of mods to take the pressure off, David, because we do get them. We do get them. But do you know when you get them? In fact, Brad's just said it. Do you know when you get mods? Do you know when you get trolls? When you're doing something right, and when you're trying to create progress for people in a better environment. Do you know why they troll you? Because they're weak. They're weak and they're underachievers. And they suffer from a thing called jealousy and envy. Terrible, terrible afflictions. I don't suffer from any of them. I wish only the best for people. I wish as a society we could all do well and we could all fly in life. I would love to see that. So I don't get envious, guys. They can waste their energy with me all they want, you know. I don't care. Just don't care. If I met them in the top of a mountain, right, I can guarantee they'd be like, "Hi Alex, how you doing? I see you. Boy, you're that guy." "Yeah, mate, I am." "Why is your bum making funny noises?" It's always the same outcome. These people need a cuddle. I've got a lot of love to give. Arms are wide open. Well, guys, just thought we would tidy up a few things. Is Slick Mick back in the chat? I need to apologise to Slick Mick. Where is he? Can we let Slick Mick know that I made a bloody arse of that with my sausage thumbs? How you doing, Taz, man? I hope you're feeling better, mate. And I'm glad the dog's alright, Blue Boy. Gaz had a lucky escape the other night, guys. Gary, a lot of people were asking after you, mate, messaging me. You get clipped by a car, some bloody idiot driver nearly mounted the pavement. So I'm glad Gary's alright. Is Slick Mick back in the chat yet? Yeah, Chelsea, the trolls go under fake names and stuff. I'm under Alex Kearney everywhere. AC or Alex Kearney, I'm dead easy to find, and I always use my same face, my same picture. So I'm not in the habit of trolling them. I couldn't care. It's not my gig. It's just not my gig. I don't get the energy for it. Is Slick Mick back yet? Anybody? Julie, so maybe get you as a mod, but you're on a few channels. I don't want to burden you because it can be a pain in the ass. Maybe get Chelsea or somebody, or if anybody wants to do it, they can let me know. Is he no back yet? I hope I've no deleted Mick. I don't even know how I done that, to be honest with you. Don't know how the hell I managed that, man. A mod, Stephen Walker's asking what a mod is. A mod, basically, you kind of have to like know them so you can know that you trust them. You're putting a lot of responsibility on a mod. How you doing, Mads? And they're basically on to monitor the live chat and protect the page, protect myself from any vulgar spamming or just crap that people do, right? But nobody wants to read it. Nobody's interested. But people feel the need to come on and target you. It could be a personal vendetta from my own life from 20 years ago. Somebody feels that they can't go over something. They like to target you. You know, who knows? You've probably forgot these people and they still come out of the woodwork because they think you're progressing or that you're doing something that they would like to damage. It's an illness. Being a troll's an illness. Get the poetry done, guys, and send me them. I'll give you marks out of 10, big man. V Thomas says, you're either a mod or a rocker. I think I'm a rocker, mate. At heart, I think I'm a rocker. I don't think I could dress like a mod with those funky haircuts. Is Slick Mick back yet, guys? I'd like to make sure Mick knows that wasn't meant, it was an accident. Right, Slick Mick's back. Mick, I'm sorry, brother. Right, that was an accident. Because I think I was up with my left hand and I hit the button. I've got literally zero coordination with my left, and I opened that wee square up to see what the chat was, and away you went. So sorry, buddy. That's twice I've done that now. Sorry, Mick. You know it was a mistake, mate. Yeah, Chelsea's a good mod, I know that, but I don't want to burden people because Chelsea's on loads of other channels, and literally I don't want people feeling obliged to, you know, I don't like to ask. I don't like to ask. I spoke at length with David before we did this, because it's my channel and I want it to be good, and I want to protect it as well. You're trusting somebody that they don't, you know, damage your channel, or they're not reckless or argumentative or abrupt with people, or they don't just go crazy and start zapping everybody. You're left with nobody, talking to yourself. What's people saying? Thin Red Line saying he'll do it. That's Brian Gallagher. Big Brian. Big Brian was in the army. Yeah, Brian, that'd be good, mate. I'd happily have you do it. You just need somebody with a keen eye, a good eye, when they know that's a bit of a spammy comment, or it's a wee bit snide, or it's a wee bit vulgar, or it's night night Jojo, mate, cheers, or it's a wee bit, you know, provocative. You're trying to press somebody's buttons there. There's no need for it. So time them out. We'll let them know why, and then if it continues, you just say, look, you know, there's no place for you here. I don't mind a bit of banter, guys, and I don't mind a bit of, you know, to and fro and a wee bit of debate. I quite like it. I'm quite a confrontational person, but I don't like people getting slaughtered, and I don't like personal insults and digs. I'm not a fan of that at all. One thing I especially don't like is crude talk. Crude, like, you know, I don't like that. Sexual chat, no, I'm not into that at all. Don't like it. So don't want to see it. But yeah, David Milne. David could maybe add Big Brian, and when Big Brian's available, I mean, he pops on quite often when he's available. And we could get another one or two. I don't know if we need too many, but maybe even 2 or 3 would be a good start, you know, be a good start. Yeah, Julius, they just don't faze me, man, not in the slightest. I think it's, I'm just going to put my wee light on again, guys. It just went out. Give us a second. I think it's rather bizarre that people want to actually spend their night noising folk up online. I couldn't be bothered with it. I'd rather read a book. And also, see, when I'm talking lately, I've tried to, like, when I know David's on, because David does mod other channels, and if he's there, then he can't be here. And that's absolutely fine. He's not expected to be available all the time. But if I know he's on, I know my back's covered. And I can leave the chat to him. So sometimes my chat's not up. It seems to time itself away every so often. And also David's very, very astute. What I've noticed is he notices people on social media. And I remember names on social media, on channels. And I had some people in the chat that I've personally removed recently that were on supporting somebody else that I cannot support under any circumstances. They were on there being supportive, and yet they were appearing on my channel as a friend of mine. You can't be a friend of mine if you're a friend of that. You just can't be. It will never be the case. You can't polish both sides of the coin. You just can't do it. I'm black and white, as you know, and I don't budge. I don't budge on that. I don't skirt the, you know, the grey. I'm just not doing it. And I see a lot online. I'm very, very observant. Aye, Mick was put in the bad corner for misbehaviour. The naughty step. Sorry, Mick, I'm just laughing. I'm hopeless, Mick, honestly. I'll time somebody else out next week. I hope I've not inadvertently insulted them to be timing them out and I've not realised. I probably have, because I'm crap with tech, but I'm getting there. This time next year I'll be an expert. Well, guys, what can I say? It's been funny. Aye, I'm always grateful for the chat. Now, I had called the video halfway at the start because I'm 6 and a bit days into this week, and I'm just kind of upping the gears a wee bit, squaring away some of my dietary habits and pushing myself back to fitness. So yeah, I don't. Evening, Stevie boy, how you doing? Yeah, fight for hire. Onions definitely increase your testosterone. Not the way that TRT would, but onions are definitely an absolute superfood. Red onions are a superfood. White too, but I prefer red. Eggs, white onions, avocados, pomegranates, apples. I absolutely love apples. I devour them 4 at a time. Get that stuff into these, guys. Get real food into these and you'll be absolutely rocking. So, there you go. It's not rocket science. Yeah, it's been a funny old night, actually. I've quite enjoyed this chat. I don't even think there's been anything crazy funny said, but it just make me laugh, some of the banter. And Mick took it well, getting zapped. Poor Mick. What I'm going to eat? Oats. A lot of oats. A lot of eggs. Red onion. Apple and banana. I don't go crazy on very, very sugary foods like oranges and tangerines and clementines. I absolutely love them. The problem is I eat too many of them, and too many of anything is no good. It's like drinking cartons of fresh orange. You are drinking a lot of natural fructose, natural sugar. So I'm going to be eating what I call clean fruits, red apples, a banana once a day, half in the morning, half in the afternoon, for the potassium and the starch. And the apples are just a pure cleanser. They're a gut cleanser. And I'll stick to real food. I'll eat real food. Yeah, I'll have a wee snack when I feel like it, but I won't be power eating snacks every night. I'll avoid crisps because crisps are just not healthy at all, no matter what they say in a packet. It's the process of how they're cooked that's not healthy. If they're fried. Anything that's in palm oil, get rid of it. I like peanut butter, but it's got to be without palm oil. I love things like pickles. I love chilies, turmeric, root ginger, stuff like that. I'm just going to be looking after myself, guys. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I will share it with you. Somebody just asked about cheese. Who was that? Horrible Peter. Listen, Peter. See, if cheese never existed, I would have a six-pack. I can't walk by cheese. If I thought the moon was made of cheese, I'd build a ladder and I'd get up there and I'd devour it. Because I'm like, I'm like Jerry, I'm like the mouse. Can't resist the cheese. I am extreme. That's the problem. Too extreme at times. Have you any of you tasted St. Augur? A-G-U-R, St. Augur cheese? Packets of it. Honestly. Packets of it, man. With little Cars crackers. Strong, it's really strong. It blows everything away, it's just so good. I love it. I love Stilton. I love blue cheese. I love all of it. I love all cheese. But that St. Augur is probably my favourite. I'll literally buy it every other day. I just love it. And I just need to accept that that's one of the... I would rather have that than, like, you know, eat loads and loads of crap or drink a 2 litre bottle of Coke. I'll go to the cheese. Cheese is also quite healthy, guys. Don't be totally confused with cheese. Cheese is pretty good for you. It's not the worst thing in the world that you can eat. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I'll be looking after myself food-wise. I will be. And when I'm doing my tough days, like in the hills, I'll be on the caffeine, especially in the morning, and I'll take my wee mini flask for throughout the day. And I will load up in the caffeine. The caffeine is a godsend in the mountains, and I believe it absolutely elevates the brain to another level. It makes me functional. It gives me clarity. It gives me, you know, a better thought process, a better train of thought. Ice cream and burgers, V. Thomas is saying. See, I love ice cream. Not a big fan of burgers. I'll eat a burger, but I wouldn't go looking for a burger. You know, burgers, I think they're actually pretty bland these days. But ice cream is that's another story. Mint choc chip, coconut and mango. See, like mango sorbet. I could mainline that right into my arm. Lee, that's probably what's going on with you, mate. You're way mad with the coffee. Bovril. Ellie's just asked about Bovril. I've got Bovril in that cupboard and I've got Bovril in that cupboard. So I've got the liquid, right, the paste version, and I've got the powdered version. But listen, guys, see, in the old days, they used to have the big tubs of Bovril, right, at the football stadiums. It was the real Bovril. The real beef extract with all the goodies in it, all the salt and all the goodness, right? And they're not allowed to make it anymore, so you actually can't get it now. Bovril is banging, Susan. Oh, in fact, the Bovril's getting spanked tonight. What's Deco saying? If you'd done StreamYard and pre-booked when you were coming on, I bet your numbers would be around 250-ish, 100 in chat now. Okay, right, well, you need to teach me then. So I've downloaded it, I've got the StreamYard thing, but I don't know how to link the two. I don't know if I go live through YouTube or do I go live through StreamYard, Deco, you know what I'm saying, mate? And we have hit 100 in the chat, which is good. That's maybe the first time we've done 100. So thank you very much, guys. I'm delighted. Very grateful. Is that somebody new? B1 Battle Droid, how you doing, mate? Nice to have you here. Thanks very much for coming on. We're grateful for you joining us. And for anyone else that's new tonight, and I know there's a few, thank you very much for coming on. We've had a good laugh tonight. It's been quite funny. We're now talking about Bovril. Marmite's getting a mention. Marmite's a poor man's yeast, let's be honest. Yeast flakes are the devil's dandruff. Slick Mick saying he misses the live sometimes and they're up there with the best for normality. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful, guys, for people. Wee Davey for Glasgow, how you doing, mate? And I know that some of you are on other channels. You're on Motorsports, I get that. You're on this one, you're on that one, and that's brilliant that you've come across and, you know, spread the love and support us all. I know that we can get roped up in another thing that goes on in this corner of YouTube, and I get that, right, guys? But listen, we're here for the right reasons, as is Deco. You know, he does do a lot of good stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about, and I do know about it. I'm not going to mention anything, but we're here for the better of everybody, and we're trying to do good things. So my plan is, I'm doing something tomorrow with a podcaster, which will go out, and I'm going to get Leon for a chat, probably, I would reckon, tomorrow night. I'm down for a funeral on Thursday, my mate that passed away, and then maybe even on Friday, me and DC might put something together for yous. I did promise yous a few weeks ago, but I shouldn't have. He was deep in his training and he was completely focused elsewhere, and I just never asked him again because I didn't want to stretch him. His focus was required elsewhere. So we're going to bring his it. We're going to bring his it probably weekly. If it's warranted and if it's wanted, but we'll see how it goes. And we'll mix it up. You know, we'll mix it up. So no, I think somebody said something, you'll never have to, there's not any payment thing on this channel, there never will be. No chance. You're just here. I'm just grateful for you being here. Very, very grateful. So, David McIntyre, thanks for the kind words, David. I appreciate that very much, mate. Thank you. It's good to see the Tasman up and about. I know he's been in a lot of pain for days, black and blue. So, it's good to see him that he's alright. I like that. I might even get Gaz on one night for a chin wag and we'll talk about his life. He's got an interesting story. People are saying hit the like to make the algorithm work. I'm not really clued up with what the likes do. I try and like everybody's videos, by the way. And half the time I'm like, I'm bloody clueless. Why did you do that, Brian, you nutcase? You better know. You better know, man. I'll burst you. You better know, Brian. I'll talk to you after this live. You should keep it from Dale. Did you like the porridge? Usalid's bendy water. Oh, the old bendy water. Big Dale's some boy, isn't he? Big Dale's a handful. Tell you that for nothing. In fact, I'm going to see Dale soon. I definitely need a catch up with the big fella. Brian, I'm going to bust you. So by hitting the like, it helps you reach. Okay. You did, didn't you? Oh. Fucking bust you. Right, guys, there's in this chat tonight, right, I'm actually mortified. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if you can see this, but it comes up in dollars, right? There's people been donating stuff tonight into this channel. Now, I'm going to tell you, right, I've got a YouTube fund with the stuff that people sent. Now, there's going to come a time where we have to do something with it. And there's quite a few £100 in it. And tonight in this chat, there's $117.06. Now, that's never ever happened before. However, Brian Gallagher, the Thin Red Line, has donated heavily tonight. I'm going to need to speak to him about that. I don't know if you can limit people's donations. I don't know. Find out at Last Echo. I don't know what to say to that, Brian. Right? I'm no comfortable with it. But I'm going to make sure it gets used for something correct and not squandered in something that's not right. So, aye, I'm very, very overwhelmed, to be honest with you. But I'm going to talk to you after this live. Right, guys. Aye, that's kind of stumped me. Big Dale is beyond the imaginary curve for folk asking. The big man is always worth a listen. Very divisive, very controversial big fella. Known Dale all my life, when we were boys. We grew up together. He's some boy. He's a big 6'4", built like a tank. He's as angry as a hungry bear as well. But I love him to bits, he's brilliant. He's a good guy. Right, let's get on it. Let's, we're halfway there. So tomorrow, up we get. Focused. Pint of water. Porridge oats. Half a banana. Boom. Let's go. Let's get on it. I'm very grateful tonight, guys. There's 104 people. I don't think I've had that in the chat. I used to get big numbers in my lives on Facebook. I think my record was like 93,000 people in one live, which was astronomical. For those that don't know, I was doing stuff in Glasgow and it was going viral. It got 7 million views. It was nuts. But those days are gone because I'm totally shadow banned. So I'm very, very grateful for this tonight. It's really, really cheered me up and it's making it worthwhile. Because I'm reading the comments as I go and I'm trying to catch everybody's and respond. And for anyone I miss, you know it's not meant. I'll try and catch everybody. If I miss you tonight, I'll get you next time. Sometimes when it gets busy and moves quick, people can get missed. See, if you've asked me something and I've not responded, just ask again down the chat, guys, and I'll get to you. Chris Glendinning, how you doing, mate? I will get to you guys. I'm not an ignorant person. I would never leave somebody out. I want to answer everybody. It's just that at times it goes fast. I would really like to be able to slow it and capture everything that he's asked, but don't be scared to ask twice or ask 3 times if you have to, right? And if you know, if people in the chat that are regulars see something that needs addressing, then highlight it to me, because we don't know if somebody's reaching out. We don't know if somebody's reaching out that needs a hand, that needs all of us to just, you know, put a hand out. So let's make sure we don't miss anybody. That's important. It's important to me that we don't miss anybody. I'll call you when I get off, Deco. Right? He knows I'm a dinosaur. He just laughs at me because I'm. He explains stuff to me 10 times and it goes ding. Well, I'm grateful for tonight. It's been good, and we haven't really talked about anything bar the beginning where I addressed a few things. We haven't really spoke about anything in particular. Like, we didn't go into a subject and go, right, let's hammer this tonight. We just let the chat flow. It's probably maybe the first time I've actually just ran like this with it, and we covered a lot of subjects. I like when you throw something at me, a wee curveball, and put it on me. I think some of you are testing my knowledge. I've got a pretty decent general knowledge of a lot of subjects. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know everything about anything. So there you go, work that one out. But I'm happy to help, and I'll always throw my tuppence worth in the hat if I can. This was just a catch-up tonight, Brad. It was a catch-up and a thank you. We're doing good things here. You guys have said it before, and I'll reiterate. I'll give you a bell the morally as well. Thanks, mate. I know that you don't see all. Cheers, Glasgow Celtic. I appreciate it. Good night, LFC. Horrible Peter. All the best, mate. Cheers. I know that you don't see all of the feedback. It's me that gets the feedback, but I'll always try and relate to you. I get bombarded with messages from people. Night, night, Donny boy. Cheers. Saying, thank you very much. The fastest land mammal or animal, because he's trying to catch me out. He thinks I'm going to see a cheetah. The fastest land mammal, was that? Oh yeah, I don't know, it might have been, I seen the fastest land something. So I know that I get all the messages sent to me, so I try and relay them to use, but believe me guys, something we're doing an hour or swim at 40 mile an hour. What's your Instagram? AC coming back to life. AC _ coming back to life. A cheetah is the fastest animal. The fastest bird is a peregrine falcon on the drop. Fastest water animal is a hippopotamus. They're rapid. Ostriches have been recorded at over 60 miles an hour. An ostrich is faster than an emu, but not when Rod Hull's chasing it. Getting the water, guys, makes you feel alive. An orca, Chris is saying, I was watching them, Chris, off Cape Wrath. Wow, they're unbelievable. One of the fastest fish is a barracuda. I've caught them off an oil rig on a hand line. Crazy fish. He jumped 20 feet out of the water. Also caught a sailfish on a hand line, nearly pulled my arm off. True story. There's not a fish that swims that I've not caught. Hippos are rapid, Nilo. Don't ever poke a hippo in the nose and think you're going to outswim it. It will chomp you. I'll get my CV to you, Julius. Fastest fish is a brownie up the Arran View, chasing a pink snake. You need to be a fly fisherman to know that. No, I'm a fly fisherman. Brian Gallagher's a stocky basher. He'll not like that. Oh, I'm fly fishing daft. I love it. Been doing it all my life. I owned fisheries. Nigeria, Stevie, you're right. One night I was pulling a tuna up the rig leg right in the dark, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 45, 50 degrees. I'm horsing a tuna up on a hand line, tuna about 70 or 80 pound, and a 5-6 metre hammerhead. Bear in mind we were in a deep water project, it's 2 mile deep. This 5-6 metre giant hammerhead, or great hammerhead, comes up in the crystal clear black water with the night lights for the leg going down, and it just takes the tuna right off the line, right? I'm left with the mouth and the muzzle, the bill of the fish, and it just swims away. Never seen a coelacanth, no. They're deep water fish, Indonesia, places like that. And it just swims away with it, and when I say it's one of the most intimidating sights you'll ever see in your life, a giant hammerhead, see their hammer? It's about 6 foot across the stock, the hammer, and it just swam it, and I was like, wow. See if I'd have slipped, I'm right on the water's edge, the waves are coming through, but we're behind a cage literally, absolute jailbait, right? We shouldn't have been doing it, but at the time me and my mate Chris were completely and utterly obsessed with fishing. We still are, we're fishermen all our lives. And once it's in you and it's in your blood, you can't stop it. You can't do it. If I see water, I'm like, it's like a magnet to me. You know what I mean? It's like the lights going out to a shoplifter, pockets filled. If I see water, I'm at it, looking for fish, scanning it, signs it. If I see a river, I'm over the edge looking to see what I can see. I'm just very, very drawn to water. Always have been. I've caught a lot of big fish. I caught a sailfish, and I had my mate with his arms round my waist holding me, and I had a South African diver called Kobe holding him. Yeah, I know the owners at Fairley. I know the owners down there. I know Senga and George. And it jumped out of the water like 300 metres away, 300 metres away with this big spool, 200 pound line, and it burst the line. But when I felt the power, it was incredible. How you doing? Fecker Wolo, that's an unusual name. How you doing? Welcome. And it burst the hand line. And we used to climb down the rig leg at night, down one of the exit stairwells, you know, and you're not allowed to do it. This was in Nigeria, in the Bay of Benin. It was the Bonga oil project. It was the biggest FPSO in the world at the time, floating production storage vessel. And me and my mate were on it. We were there from the whole project, started in Wallsend Yard, down in Tyneside. And we towed the vessel out. We were out there a few years, and it was an incredible job. But because we were fishermen, we were obsessed. The minute that we started to see what was swimming round, we were like, right, get lines smuggled out here, get this, let's make up, you know, cut stainless steel, let's get hooks, let's get this, let's fish. So we improvised. Yeah, there was kidnappings. We get held up a few times at Warri, at places like that. I've also been in a chopper that ditched. Not a lot of people can say they survived a ditched chopper, but I can. That was interesting. Yeah, had guys sticking knives and stuff through the bus windows at us trying to rob us. I used to just pull them in, pull their arm in. As you do. Protect yourself at all costs. So I love the fishing, and I love the sea, and I would say it's a lifelong obsession. If I see fish, I'll try and catch them with anything. I don't care if it's a 6, 7, 8 foot long marlin or a sailfish. If I can get a hand line, I'll throw a lure at it. And these fish run and they hit insane speeds and they jump 30, 40, 50 feet clear of the water. You know, in an arc, they'll clear 50 feet. They're so fast. Incredible species. And I would have that on my hands. I'm confident enough to attack them that way. I just love it. And I would let them go again. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story before I go, right? On that project, there was 1,000 men out there. On every changeover, you know, there was 300 men out on every flight. It was the outbound Virgin Airways flights out of Lagos International to Heathrow, right? Yeah, we've got crazy chat here. JMC, Used Cars Glasgow. We're talking about everything. A minute ago it was Bovril, now we're talking about sharks, shark fishing with hand lines. So, me and my mate were Glaswegians and we had been in Lagos and everybody's drinking. It was early on in the project. And this wee guy, wee Geordie guy, wee Stevie, right? I'll always remember, wee Stevie. He's a nice wee guy. But when you got into the Star Bar in Lagos, Stevie Jones, I know what I'm talking about, they had bottles of Star beer this size, right, for about 50 pence. Right out the fridge. Red rag to a bull. Ship full of Geordies all choking for a beer. So they're all bluttered. And at the end of the night, wee Stevie was wrecked. So he got refused to board the flight. Now he wasn't my mate. I'm not a Geordie, right? I just knew him. So they wouldn't let him on no matter what. And he was going to need to stay in the airport. Now there's no help at Lagos at night. You're on your own. And you don't really want to be in Lagos airport your night, right? You don't. You just don't. So, I said to all the Geordies, are you actually going to leave him here himself? And they're like, aye, we're going home. Now, I love Geordies, right? But I didn't like them that night, because I'm with my mates, no matter what happens. Back to the wall, dig your heels in. So they wouldn't stay, and I said, somebody's going to need to stay with the guy, he's wrecked, you can't leave him here, he'll get robbed, he'll get tied up, you'll probably never see him again. Anyway, not a man. 300 men. And I know some of those guys to this day that will verify this story as fact, they all looked the other way. I let them all know how I felt. So guys, I took myself off the flight, okay? And I dragged Stevie by his neck, holding his bags and mine, to a bench. Sat him on the bench. I said, sit there, shut your trap, don't open your gob. And I sit. And I sat with him all night long. And at night time in Lagos airport, when the security go home, in come the cleaners, the street guys, the this, the that, and they circled us all night like jackals watching us. Honestly, right? And I just sat. And at the time I was 26, 27, I was built like a tank. I was probably quite a intimidating looking guy. And I just sat and I watched every single person. Good night, Susan. And I never took my eyes off them and I never shut my eyes once. And in the morning, I made contact with the platform and we got new flights arranged and we had to sit there till the next midnight flight outbound. And that's a true story. And that wee Stevie was mortified. He cried all day. He said, sorry, Alex, all day long. I said, Stevie, we're here now. Don't worry about it. It can't be changed. Sorry's not going to change anything. Let's just get this sorted. So I sat with wee Stevie, and I hope he remembers it to this day, that, you know, it was some guy from Glasgow that bailed him out and not his mates from Newcastle. So there's one up in the Geordies. Anyway, we were fine. We got on the flight and that was it. He went his way at Heathrow, I went mine. And he got paddled. I never seen him again. So, another night I'll tell you another story, right? Now, I know that I'm the only man in Britain that's had the permission off of a pilot to chin somebody on a flight. for attacking an air hostess. True story. Coming to a phone near you very soon, right guys? I'm going to get off, okay? Before I incriminate myself. Right, night. It's been a blast. I hope you have enjoyed the banter. It's all good. It was long ago, and I don't tie flies anymore, wee man. My hands are no great for it, and I was never that good at it anyway. I was always too busy to practice. But my mates are some of the best fly tiers in Scotland. Stevie and Neil and guys like that. You'll see Big Stevie on Instagram. He's fly fishing, fly tying. He's brilliant. Right, night. I'll give you another good story tomorrow night, okay? This one's a belter, by the way. Thank you, everybody. Lenny Lou, V Thomas, Ellie, Jaleese. Cheers, everybody, right? I hope you enjoyed the banter. I did. Thanks a lot, guys. Night.